you find though about when someone is trying to think of, so let's say if somebody hypothetically speaking is happy, they're great, but they're starting to look for a job. Do you find, has anyone ever told you about how they kind of feel almost like remorseful in a sense because their leader is wonderful and they feel like they're kind of like backstabbing them from like, it's like, is that a common thing? Because
Yeah.
I've heard that and I had no idea if that's a normal
Oh
thing.
yeah, I have a whole podcast episode on it called Job Search Guilt, like and how
Oh,
to
do you
move
really?
on
Oh, wow.
from it. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's totally a real thing. Because I think also again going back like societally, and I think mm, I hate to like talk about things in generations, but I think the millennial generation, we kind of started the like, oh, do I need to be as loyal as I am? And Gen Z is like, treat me right or I'm out of here, right? So like I love Gen Z for
Sure.
that. So not to generalize too much, but like props to Gen Z for saying like pay me what you owe me or I am out of here. But you know, it's interesting. I think about my mom and I think about my mom tells me that my grandfather used to instill in her, you know, two things about working. You don't rock the boat and you don't quit. And so I think generationally that's been passed down to us, of I'm treated well. I'm paid well. I may not like this or like that, or I may be overworked, but I'm treated well. And I saw that actually a lot in that last company I was at, where it was like, people like, oh, well, you know, when I had to go to a doctor's appointment, they let me go to a doctor's appointment. And like, so all these things, and it does remind me of like, I think sometimes too, like being in a toxic manipulative relationship as well, where it's like, that we had allowed ourselves to let the bar be so low that I think organizations and companies were like, oh, okay, that's all it takes to keep people is like giving them, you know, an extra PTO day to go on a doctor's appointment. So I think we kind of allowed we allowed this to happen for a long time, but now things have changed. But we as workers have not necessarily all caught up to that, and there is that sense of loyalty. And so I think it's remembering that, you know, you can still be loyal to your organization. It doesn't mean that you're like gonna leave and literally arson the place, right? Like,
Sure.
and it's also I
Yeah.
think remembering too, like I say this jokingly, but I do mean it. It's like my life changed drastically when I realized I wasn't that important, and not in a self-loathing way, but like I knew when I left my last job, like things weren't gonna collapse. Like my mom said, everyone's replaceable. Like everyone is replaceable, and it's remembering that at any moment your boss could get another job offer, and here you are so loyal to this person. You know, most likely they're not going to be as loyal to you, and that's okay, right? Like you really should be in this sense looking out for yourself, your well-being, your family's well-being, right? At the end of the day, like we can't give we can't give our jobs are just a part of us, right? And like it's really important to ask ourselves, like, what do I need? What does my family need? And if someone is a true good leader, if a company has true great culture, they are going to champion you leaving. If they are going to make you feel bad, make you feel guilty, they are actually not who you think you are, and you shouldn't be loyal to them anyways. So I think it's really important to put that into perspective of like, if this really is a great leader, a great culture, a great company, they're going to be really excited. Will they be sad? Yes. But will they be excited for you? Yes. Because a true great leader, that's what they want from their people, to move up. And if they can't move up where they are, to be able to move out somewhere else too. So it's remembering that piece as well.
Yeah, and you are replaceable, which I know is once again
Yeah,
it sounds really bad, but
it's
it's true.
true.
That is
It's true.
it's a,
We're not
it's
like, it's not like we're heart surgeons in the middle of like, you know, heart
no.
surgery and they're like, oh, you know what? I quit. And it's like, okay, well, this person's going to die on the table. It's like, we're in learning and development, everyone. Like, let's relax.
That's what I always say. It was just like, is anyone gonna die if you don't do this? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay,
No.
then
Yeah,
then we
exactly.
can ask for more time. We can beg for forgiveness later. Like we can figure it out.
Yeah.
Like it's this,
Yeah.
it's not that crazy. And one thing that you said too, in which actually I did do this, where I had a sense that one of my leaders who was awesome was gonna be leaving, and that made me instantly be like, I'm finding a new job, because they're fantastic and they're going to be
Wow.
gone. And now my world's going to get rocked. And I'm like, no,
Exactly. You
I'm good. I
never
told to
know.
be a part of that.
Yeah,
So,
and
yeah.
I have an executive coaching client right now who, um, her leader got promoted as good leaders do, got promoted, and she was very nervous about getting a new leader, and it took some time and adjustment, and now she's so happy with him as her leader, and it's a really great, a really great relationship. But again, it's like, if that is such a great leader that you have, most likely they're going to get promoted or poached or all of those things too. So just like that, that if everyone just stays loyal like that, no one grows, and it's not fair to anyone.